What's up, everybody? This is Chris Abbott, and I am here with
Vasillis Siskos.
Hey, Vasillis. How's
Hi,
it going?
how are you? Doing
I'm
well.
good. Yeah.
And we're going to look at the Assassin's Creed Unity Gamescom trailer.
Awesome. So, right off the bat, this is a beautiful shot of Paris.
Yeah.
We can see a lot of high points in the distance. So, I mean, you're probably gonna have to traverse those, and that'll unlock areas in the map, just like we've known from the Assassin's Creed games, right?
Right.
And seems like it makes sense.
Just real quick, I mean, I'm not a huge history buff, but this is right before the French Revolution in 1789, so this is not a sci-fi. At least not this part of it, anyway.
Yeah, not this part, right? All right, let's keep going here. So we see the stained glass windows.
This is just so you could tell. I actually had to look that up. That's from the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Oh wow!
So
look at you getting just
right?
knowing things.
I didn't know anything. I had to Google that. But yes, that's Notre Dame Cathedral stained glass window.
Okay. We have some women working the field, it looks like.
Yeah. I imagine this is where we run around. You could kind of see the stereotypical blocks you jump on and the posts to get onto the roofs and things.
Yeah, I mean, this imagery right here, you can definitely tell, like, okay, I'm going to be climbing up this wall. I'm going to be jumping from here to there, da-da-da-da-da, And let's see. We see a lot of ballroom dancing, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, this ties into the French Revolution aspect. This is the aristocracy, and the whole idea around the French Revolution, what happened high level is, it was kind of the people overthrowing the aristocracy and the monarchy and the religious institutions of the time. So I imagine this is what, maybe even the assassins feel are the enemies of the time.
Mm-hmm. There's another shot that we'll get to later, but there's the big open ballroom dancing with several people in it. I think that's going to be like having so many people around you is going to provide great camouflage so you can stalk your prey. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
And
so here we have kind of the stereotypical 4-person guards that we've seen in Assassin's Creed over and over again. I imagine those are like the 3 weaker ones, and then that middle guard with the armor is the one that actually sticks around and tries to stab you a lot.
Definitely. I think it's interesting though. Like I can't really tell. It looks like they all have the same weapons. So usually, like in Brotherhood, especially, like the big bad out of the small group, he's got like a warhammer typically or something, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like they've all just got a pistol and a sword. So
yeah, good point. All right, so this guy, priest. I mean, this tends to be the kind of enemy from Assassin's Creed that tends to align with the Templars. So I'm guessing he's a Templar.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that, sir. All right, now I wanted to point this out too because we've heard that there's going to be a lot of side missions, side quests or whatever that you can go off and do instead of just breaking off and doing the campaign. I'm assuming that this is going to be one of them. We see a man that looks like he's getting beaten down. So our protagonist, Arno, will probably be given the option to maybe help this guy out. He looks like he's getting hit, maybe probably robbed later on or something.
And you can kind of tell, too, that the people getting hit are kind of like the poorer folks, which, again, sparks, the French Revolution is people trying to come up against the aristocracy. And looks like the folks in the green robes are of a wealthier, probably, variety.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of cut into this scene, right? There's a lot of dead guards.
It's creepy.
It's very creepy. So I imagine, this is kind of like the actual spark of the revolution. And then if you keep going, you'll see even the guillotine and the an overthrown statue there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, all of that is clear foreshadowing into what this whole game is about and kind of the uproar that's going to happen during this period.
Absolutely. All right, now as we sprawl up one of the buildings, we get to see Arno.
Here we go, the protagonist in all his glory.
There he is. I love his robes in this one. I love the color of them. I think it's great. One thing I also noticed too is just like the guards earlier, there was a pistol and a sword, and we see that here. He's not decked out in like 4 pistols like Edward Kenway is, or like he's not like armed to the teeth. You know what I mean?
Right. At least not yet.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So this is where we see Arno obviously running, but this is their, I imagine Ubisoft showing off kind of the traversal element. They've changed a lot of the parkour mechanic in this game. And if you actually just play through it, you'll see how smooth it is, how he gets up on walls. It's all very fast. He's turning around on the window. He's not just grabbing on and then you have to shuffle over. It's all very smooth. And, the city's going to be, it's almost like a 1-to-1 with actual Paris, France back then. It's close anyway, if it's not exactly 1-to-1.
Super close, yeah.
It's super close, so it's big. And so I imagine, this is really if he had to shuffle around, that would have been a pain in the butt to get around the city. So this is a hugely welcome improvement to the Assassin's Creed mechanic.
Yeah, the traversal is going to be so much better. One thing real quick, let me just go back. So right here, we see this library, and there is a white poster, looks like. I wonder if that is a mark letting players know that either that property is for sale, or if that's one of the posters that Arno can rip down to decrease his wanted level.
Right, good point.
So,
good catch.
I'm hoping that, like Brotherhood, we'll get to buy a ton of parts of the city.
Me too. And then here we have he'll jump into this building, and this is another cool part of the game. There's going to actually be buildings you can run through, and it's not like in, let's say Assassin's Creed, where it automatically shuffles you through in an animation to the other end.
Right.
These are actual rooms and things you can run through and hide in and get through the city much faster instead of getting up on the roof and then coming down from the roof. Mm-hmm. So I thought this was a really cool addition as well.
So right here we see the green robe and then blue.
Blue, yeah.
So I wonder if is that still Arno, or do you think that's one of the other assassins that you can meet up with?
I think it's all Arno. I know that Ubisoft has made a very big deal about the fact that you can really change up your character a lot in this game. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a lot of outfits, and I think you can even do it down to like the boots and the gloves. There's a lot of different things you'll be able to change about your character.
Nice. This leap here is just awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like that's crazy. All right, and we see like a ton more people, some protesters. It looks like.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's kind of like like in all the other games where there's a crazy person yelling on the corner, mm-hmm. and you have to pay them to kind of lower your wanted level and things. That would be interesting if he's one of those, or if he's just some random.
I love this imagery right here.
Yes.
Just the giant mass of people.
And that's all in real time. I think the game can actually render thousands and thousands of people on the screen at once, mm-hmm. that you can walk through in the actual game. So here we have Arno getting closer to his target. And I don't think what's going to happen right now is magic. I think it's just editing to make it more interesting. So I don't think he can actually warp around.
No.
But it's this. I think it's the same stained glass window from earlier. I imagine maybe he's in the Notre Dame Cathedral again. And then, we see him hanging in the rafters like an assassin does so well.
Yeah, now I wanted to ask you, so in the other games, like Brotherhood, when you're playing as Ezio, you can go into some churches and there's the platform becomes kind of a puzzle. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to see the return of that here, or do you think this is just a setting to assassinate somebody?
I think this is a setting to assassinate somebody, but I also think the first part of what you said is going to be true, because I think there's going to be a lot of, you mentioned it earlier, there's going to be a lot of side missions, mm-hmm. And I can't imagine they would get rid of the puzzle element. I think that's one of the most interesting parts of the Assassin's Creed games, is to actually traverse and kind of get through those side missions and uncover those kind of side elements of the story.
Definitely. Now, again, I know I keep bringing up the crowds, but it looks like you have a couple options here, which is really cool. You can go up through the rafters like we see, or you can blend in with the crowd and creep closer and closer to your prey. Mm-hmm. So that's cool that they kept that in there.
Definitely. And then if you pause here, this is where I'm a little confused on the history. So La Liberté ou la Mort is like freedom or death, which was a French Revolution slogan, mm-hmm. Which was for the people. So what's interesting here is he's about to kill a priest, which I imagine is aligned with the Templars, but he's speaking to the revolutionaries. So I'm curious, when you look at the name and when you look at the previous trailer where they kind of introduce Elise, who's a Templar, where it seems like your main character and her are in love, mm-hmm. I wonder if Unity is actually hinting at a different thing here, where the Templars and Assassins actually have to work together in some way. Because there's some weird blurring of lines here that I'm not quite understanding, because there's the priests and then the people, and the French Revolution slogan. So I'm curious what's going on here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this and Assassin's Creed Rogue play off each other too, because isn't he supposed to end up being a Templar? So
yeah,
I wonder if there's
assassin. He's an assassin.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's any type of intertwined storylines going on with that.
Right.
I think I read that like it's supposed to be. So
yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lead up to this. This is my favorite scene of the trailer by far.
Same.
It is so intriguing. There's a lot going on here. It's clearly an assassin tribunal. I mean, you see their insignia right there in the front. Arno is talking to some leadership of the Assassin's Order. Now, what's striking to me here is when you're up against a tribunal, you're kind of in trouble, right? So again, I'm wondering if this game is really about blurring of the lines between assassins and Templars. And another thing here is how wealthy they look.
Yes, the white robes.
Yeah, they look, I mean, it's just so ornate, and they're clearly just swimming in wealth in some capacity. And considering the whole point of the French Revolution was to overthrow the aristocracy, I'm still thinking there is friction between the assassins and the Templars, and I think there's some blurring of lines. I could be wrong, but that's what this trailer is telling me.
Yeah, it's definitely hinting towards that. So, but yeah, seeing this imagery is really, I don't know, it's makes you scratch your head because it's not something that like we've ever seen in an Assassin's Creed game before. You know, with the tribunal, just like you said, I'm really excited to see where this story goes.
Me too.
And there we get the famous logo.
Yeah, I love that logo.
Yeah, it looks like the guillotine coming down. It's great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right, so yeah, tell us what you think about Assassin's Creed Unity. Vasillis, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is fun. Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. Bye.